claiming to reignite the styling of the legendary original Z900, the beautiful and wildly popular Kawasaki Z900RS, against the one taking its name and inspiration from the iconic 1970s XS1, the stunning Yamaha XSR900. If you're after a proper RetroSport motorcycle, then these are two of the absolute top tier choices. Hi, I'm Kwackajack, and thanks for joining along for another video in the Versus series. Today we have two beautiful retro-styled motorcycles going head to head in a direct specs comparison, where we'll be having a quick look at the history behind both before comparing the claimed engine and power stats, exhaust sounds, weight, suspension and brakes, features and price. But before we get started, please do me a huge favor and give this video a like, hit subscribe to join our fast growing motorcycle loving family, and let me know which of these two stunners you prefer. Alright, let's get straight into it. The Kawasaki Z900RS is designed to honor the legendary original Z1, which was first released in 1972. This is one of those motorcycles that achieved legendary status, being the most powerful Japanese inline 4 sold at the time, and was a real gem of a bike. Kawasaki's modern variant is based around their very popular naked Z900, but given a few tweaks and of course that beautiful retro styling. The Yamaha XSR900, however, is based upon their own MT-09 naked bike and is designed to pay homage to the 1970s XS1, which was also a very popular motorcycle. I'm going to quickly put up some photos of each now so you can decide which styling you prefer. They are both really beautiful bikes and they have nailed that classic aesthetic, but I absolutely love that candy tone green paint and styling on the Z900RS. In my opinion, it's a future classic. But of course this is personal opinion, so which of the two bikes looks do you prefer? Now to the engines. The Kawi is rocking a slightly revised version of the Z900's 948cc inline-4 engine. It is now pumping out 111 horsepower at 8,500 RPM, as well as 98.5 Nm of torque at 6,500. Now that is torquey. Those revisions made to the engine mean that you're going to get a really fun power delivery and lots of low down grunt. This will make it an absolute blast to ride around town and up into the mountains as well, with the 0 to 100 time being around 3.5 seconds and the claimed top speed of 230 km. The XSR, however, grabs the high torque 847cc 3-cylinder engine from the MT-09, and in this version produces 113 horsepower at 10,000 RPM, as well as 87.5 Nm of torque at 8,500. That allows this bike to also have very similar acceleration stats to the Kawi, with the 0 to 100 time being in the 3 seconds and onto a top speed of around 230 km an hour. Now the MT-09 that this bike was based off was very front end happy, and that has translated to this bike too, with people claiming the XSR900 to be a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, and very willing to pop a wheelie whenever possible. Both of these bikes shouldn't be underestimated and are packing some serious grunt. The Yamaha, while having a 99cc smaller engine, does produce 2 more horses. However, the Kawasaki does have 11 more torque, which is a lot bigger of a difference. So overall for engine and power, the Kawasaki does take the win. Kawasaki does also claim to have engineered the exhaust note on this bike as well. So let's have a listen to both of the exhausts. Alright, moving on to the weight. There is quite a large difference between these two bikes when it comes to the weight, with the Kawasaki being a full 19 kilograms heavier with a wet weight of 214 kilograms. I'd say that's in part due to it having a 99cc larger engine with an extra cylinder, as well as the fact it has a trellis high tensile steel frame. The Yamaha is the clear winner in this department with a wet weight of 195 kilograms. Both of these bikes are quite heavy and it may be a bit of a lug around when moving them on foot, but that all changes once you're underway. So let's talk about suspension and brakes. The general consensus among reviewers is that these two bikes handle very well. Both manufacturers have thankfully not just put a nice face on them and then buggered them off, but actually taken the time to ensure that they are both well-rounded and actually really good motorcycles. On the Z900RS up front, you have a 41mm inverted fork with rebound damping and spring preload adjustability, and at the rear a horizontal backlink which is also adjustable. With quite a tall seat height of 835mm and an upright and relaxed seating position, this makes the Kawi a great bike to ride. They've also upgraded the brakes over the regular Z900, with it now featuring dual 300mm semi-floating pedal discs with dual radial mounted monoblock opposed 4-piston calipers at the front, and single 250mm pedal disc with single piston caliper at the back. It also comes with Nissan ABS as standard. The XSR900 at the front has telescopic forks with adjustable preload, compression and rebound damping, and an adjustable monoshock at the back. The Yamaha also has quite a high seat height of 830mm and an upright seating position just like the Kawasaki. For its brakes, it's rocking twin 298mm discs with 4-piston radial mounted calipers up front and a single 245mm disc with single piston caliper at the rear. Again, just like the MT-09, this XSR has quite a short wheelbase, which means that this bike is very agile and accurate when being thrown into corners, and means that wheelies are a common occurrence. Both motorcycles handle and brake better than expected, with their weight not becoming an issue once moving. They definitely allow for a lot of fun to be had, both around town and in more adventurous settings. Next is features. Both Kawasaki and Yamaha have sprinkled quite a few features onto these motorcycles, so while they may look retro, the tech inside is definitely not. On the Z900RS, the notable features include comfortable seat, retro styling, tuned exhaust note, trellis high tensile steel frame, Nissan ABS, LCD center display with analog style tacho and speedo, assist and slipper clutch, LEDs, classic style spokes, Kawasaki traction control, and eco mode indicator. Really though, the standout feature is of course that beautiful styling and paint scheme. With the XSR900, you get power and riding modes, traction control, assist and slipper clutch, retro styling, Nissan ABS, and retro styled multifunction LCD display. Reports are that the seat on the Yamaha isn't quite as comfortable as on the Kawasaki, but it still looks great as well. Now, I think there's a fine line between overwhelming a bike with too many electronic aids and making sure that it's properly equipped. And I think on these two machines, they've pretty much nailed that balance. They aren't super sports, so do they really need the entire suite of electronic aids that you'd find on the top of the line race bikes? Nah. Plus, these motorcycles are already coming in at a premium price. The Z900RS in my area has a right-away price of 18,022 Australian dollars on the Kawasaki website, but a quick look at bike sales showed dealer demo and almost new bikes for a few grand less, between 14 to 16,500. You can also get the cafe version with that sweet cowl and colour scheme too. The Yamaha XSR900, however, is a fair bit cheaper than its competitor, with the Yamaha website providing a right-away price of $15,499 for the base and an extra $200 for the SP model, which has a really sweet black colour scheme. To be honest with you, if I were getting the Yamaha, I'd be getting the SP, because I think that colour scheme makes the bike look awesome, and for only an extra $200, bargain. You can also find used ones for a lot cheaper as well. Please note, these are prices in my area and may be different in yours due to taxes. So, the Kawasaki is definitely the more expensive bike, but it does also have a bigger engine, more torque, and that beautiful design. The Yamaha is the lighter, cheaper, and more rowdy option. That brings the question, which one would you pick? Either way though, you're going to be getting a brilliant bike that allows you to claim a little bit of that legendary status that the originals once held. I love the look of both, but I think for my money, I'd be going the Z900RS. I can really see it becoming a future classic. But let me know what you think. Thanks for making it to this point of the video. If you haven't already, make sure to give it a like and tell me what 2 bikes you'd like to see on the chopping block next. If I use your suggestion, I'll give you a shout out. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Kwackajack_. Thanks again for watching guys, until next time, see ya!